Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Really appreciate it. Hey guys, this is Pouria Rad. I'm from Augusta University here in Georgia, and today I'm going to be presenting to you guys actually my first research, and it's a little bit like Mission Impossibly, like James Bondy, but I really enjoyed doing this. This was like my first attempt towards like digital forensics, and we're going to be using Alginate as like it's a biopolymer derived from seaweed. That's what we came up with this like fancy name seaweed from seaweed to security to be actually unlocking and spoofing fingerprints for IoT devices, specifically capacitive fingerprint sensors. So this is going to be probably really short. I'm going to be talking about our like what was it that we started doing this. We're going to be looking at like what we got out of this, and most importantly, throughout the discussions, we're going to talk a little bit about the implications and the issues that are out there with IoT devices in general that you can go and buy and use. So, the IoT has been revolutionized our lives for the past decade, and like integrating interconnected intelligent devices across various industries like healthcare has been like really convenient for us. We see it mostly at our smart homes, but like you can find it anywhere if you look closely. So, as these devices become more integrated into workflows and into companies, securing them is also really important. One of the like methods for like securing these kind of devices would be like fingerprints and using capacitive fingerprint sensors, which are cheap, widely available. We can use it anywhere. But there comes a variety of issues with them. As convenient they are, they're also can be coming into culprits of a smart home or like different systems. But what was the moment of realization for us before we get into this research on what we did about this? So, before this research, we did this information security-esque research on the platform Etsy. I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys know what Etsy is. So, we looked at the different vendors and what kind of information they share and what their security and privacy settings are. And we've tried to be like finding a correlation that like, oh, if someone having a lot of like privacy and like security features on and like not sharing a lot of their data, are they also like sharing any of their biometric data over the web as well? Because Etsy doesn't, for keeping the quality up, it doesn't compress the images as much you see on like other like handcrafts sort of like platforms. And you see a lot of people put products on their hand and like taking a picture of it to be like showcasing how small it is or how cute it is. And like with those kind of pictures, you can easily just like extract their fingerprints or like their biometric information that is easily processable, and also which since it is still in like good amount of quality, especially with AI these days, you can be using it for your own benefit to cause them some problems. So we saw that potential after having that research, and we figured out that there is no correlation between having a good like system of like privacy and like sharing your biometric data over the web. And we were like, oh, how we can use this? This is where they're like, that was a moment of realization for us, and like it got very James Bondy after that. So, for this presentation, we focus on the vulnerabilities of the fingerprint sensors, and we're introducing alginite as a novel, new spoofing material widely available used in dentistry industry, very widely, very commonly, and it is very easy to use and work with as well. So, uh, our research question is driven by two primary things. First, we investigate the effectiveness of alginate and in spoofing capacitive sensors. And second, we explore the broader implication of this vulnerability for the security of biometric data and the integrity of digital devices. We have a bunch of related works. The previous materials that has been widely used for spoofing fingerprints are gelatin, latex, or latex. Sorry, latex is a language we use. Latex, silicon, and Alginate is really works well at mimicking the skin closely because when you're actually start like working with it when it's fresh, it sort of feels like skin. When you get like a skin burn, most of the doctors like apply Alginate on it and like they close it up, and it helps like to heal faster because of that like skin mimicry sort of property. And also it gets uh, like solid super quick. So in a matter of like maybe 5-10 minutes, you can be like working with it, be done, and use it, go forward. And we also like we've seen research talking about the risks that are associated with biometric data exposed on the web, on social media, but it's still not that common, not that like focused. So this is where our research came in and like laid it works on. If you'd like to take a picture of this, about like what is it out there over the related works on the web, feel free to. You can read a bunch of good papers about this matter, but I'm not going to bore you guys to death. So, our methodology involved several key steps to evaluate the potential of alginate for spoofing fingerprint sensor. We have two works on this. This is the published one. There is an unpublished one, which we cannot do that yet because of like the work that we are doing about it with GBI in Georgia Cyber Center. But for the first part of this methodology, we wanted to see how uh, good alginate could have like performed. The first time that we tried this was on a Windows laptop, Asus in a specific, because we just like made like a spoof fingerprint sensor. We just like laid our fingers into alginate, made like a small mold, and like we poured alginate in it again, took out the fingerprint, tested it on like our smartphones with like ultrasonic sensors, our like with optical sensors as well. We used it on Apple devices with newer versions of OS because it used to be like easy to be like doing this kind of stuff on iOS 7 or like iPhone 5, iPhone 6. It's the technology has been grown substantially and they're using more high quality sensors. But the Asus laptop was pretty brand new. It was like from like I think 2021, 2022, and boom, it worked like immediately. That was the moment of realization for us that like, oh, we can spoof a fingerprint that easy with alginate and with just like a simple mold. What else we can do? So the experiments that we did for this research conducted in a controlled lab, and we made sure that there is some consistency and reliability and repeatability of this method before like publishing it out over uh, in the conferences and journals. So this is where the real James Bondy section of our work is. Uh, Imagine that you're working and or you're putting things on either your social media or on like platforms like Etsy. So the exploiter comes and just collects your data really easy, just using like a web crawler, like Selenium, etc., etc. You can just make a good database of like samples that you have. And after recognizing the fingerprints, it extracts them and make contour extracting. We worked on the algorithm, it got better, and it really works well. We easily can make a 2D fingerprint image into a 3D model that I'll explain a little bit like further ahead, that how we use that 3D model to just open up fingerprints. And after that, with 3D printing and making the like the spoofing sample, we make the mold with Alginate, and we make the mold with any sort of material, sorry, and we make the cast with Alginate, and then you have the fingerprint. You might have the address of the person based on like Etsy. You might find it based on their IP. There are several ways to do it. You go to their house. Oh, your house has a like a fingerprint unlockable uh, door handle. Boom, you can get entered. This is one of the scenarios. There are many other ways that you can look into this matter as well. So for conducting this experiment, we went ahead and bought three different like smart IoT door handles and locks from like various price points. And the thing that we did, we wanted to be, and we bought them all from Amazon. So nothing fancy, nothing too like complicated. And we had this assumption that the pricier the lock would be, the more secure it would be. Probably the better sensor that they use is going to be like easier. It's going to be harder to get into the device. That wasn't the case. So the most expensive device that we bought was the easiest one to get into, which was pretty funny to us. The success rate was just like crazy, and it worked the first time that we tried it. Like some of the devices, like the one that was not so expensive, took a little bit of like different attempts from like different angles, different ways to be unlocking that block, but the most expensive one, boom, first time. So it got us thinking that why is that happening? Who's responsible for this kind of thing? But the problem, one of the like more broader problem about these vendors and these sellers on Amazon is that most of them are just doing some sort of drop shipping from China, and they're just like having a Gmail and just putting the devices on Amazon, and people are buying them and using them for their houses or for locking their properties, and uh, they just don't know. They're super easy to spoof and like get into. And when you're trying to be finding documents about that lock, that what type of fingerprint sensor they use, who manufactured it, it's basically like I can say confidently 80% of the time impossible to figure out who were the manufacturer, that you can like go and say that like, oh, please don't buy from like this manufacturer because like their sensors is ancient, and the algorithm behind it is not working so well. So hey, manufacturers, if you want to be like make your locks more secure, don't do this. But there is not an easy way to be finding it. Yeah, let's go. Yes, yes. Like this is all like written in the paper. We actually first like use our fingers to be making sure that like there's not a problem with them. It's not like a culprit or like a bad sample. They were all working pretty great with our actual fingerprints, but when we are started to be like using this spoof fingerprint, some of them, as you can see, work really well. Some of them doesn't like allowing it at all. You have questions? Oh, I thought it had. So it's really hard to find who are the manufacturer of these fingerprint sensors, because like they're mostly just like a drop shipping Gmail that are just selling for the profit over Amazon without just caring at all about the security of the user that's they're buying and using it for their properties. So what are the implications and like things that we can take out from this research? First thing, uh, there should be algorithms about notifying the users over social media and web that, hey, you're sharing some sensitive data, you're like sharing your like maybe fingerprint data, warn them, or if it's not warn them, we haven't tried that yet to be seeing the effect of compression, like different like levels of compression over an image, and like how it really affects our way of like extracting that 3D model from the 2D image. But maybe a better way of compressing would be the answer. The other way would be blurring. Like if you're like uploading an image on Instagram or Facebook or Etsy, it's just like recognize, oh, here's a hand, so let me blur, make it a little bit like blurry, or like do something, or like have something over the fingers that it wouldn't like cause this kind of issues. The third thing that it is the importance of advancing the anti-spoofing measures, which is goes both ways. So one of the ways would be like blurring this kind of like sensitive data over the web or notifying the user. The second thing would be actually like going and grabbing or having a sort of like a standard over the supply chain to be like saying that like, hey, who is actually bringing these devices in the US? Like, are they verified? Who's selling them? Is there a sort of like standard? Who issued such standards to be like easily spoofed and easily unlockable? And having some sort of policy. Right now, we have some, but it's not widely, it hasn't been widely applicable to all of the vendors that are working on Amazon and other places. So there are some takeaways from this research for policymakers, and there are some takeaways for the industry itself to be applying some anti-spoofing measures. Uh, Obviously, there were some limitations to our work. While we try to provide a valuable insight, it's not without challenges and limitations. One of the key things in doing this kind of spoofing is to ensure a consistent mixture of the alginate. It's a little bit finicky. If the water gets a little bit like more than like what is recommended or lower, the texture might be too brittle or might be too watery. As easy and as accessible the alginate is, trying to like have like a very consistent sort of mixture is really important to be like to making these kind of like casts or molds. The second thing would be the variability in the fingerprint sensors across different devices, and like that could have affected our work as well. One of the things that we tried to find, but we couldn't like get anything, is that like who were the manufacturer of these fingerprint sensors, because we know the manufacturer of the locks, and you can find the same lock on AliExpress or Alibaba or different brands, as they were like just like doing some kind of drop shipping, but you cannot find that like what kind of equipments that manufacturer used. We emailed them, we tried to contact them, we emailed I think like more than like 20 different manufacturers of like these devices that were looking similar. They were like telling us that like which company, which sorry manufacturing plant was like manufacturing them, but when we tried to contact them, no responses we got back. And there is some, it's a little bit suspicious that why is this happening, but no one cares about it, and it is really affecting users. um, we have a fairly small sample size. We only did it over like 3 different logs. We can make this more like we can increase the variety, but the issue is that like it's not sometimes about the variety, it's about the insights that we are putting. There is an issue out there, no one's caring about it, because no one, there might be people that has been affected by it, but since the concept is a little bit too James Bondy to like people, they're just not like care about it at all time. So that is one of the things. And also uh, the environment conditions, I think, would be another thing that we should like take in. We did it in like a very controlled lab in very consistent way, so we shall see how it works over like different conditions. The thing is that when you're doing it with DLP 3D printers and making them all out of resin, um, it works very consistently to our experience. And like even if it's from like a 2D image or like a fingerprint that you can find over like a device and we turn it into like a 3D finger, it works very well. So that is one of the other issues that are out there. So in our conclusion, we try to demonstrate on this research the effective material for spoofing capacitive sensors and fingerprint sensors, and we try to be like having a like a significant finding because no research before us used alginate as a form of like a spoofing material, and also this is one of the like the first research out there that is talking about like spoofing IoT devices that are being sold out there. The implication of our findings extends to the broader field of like biometric security. There is like a clear need for improved security measures that can effectively counteract the threat posed by advanced spoofing materials like alginate. And this includes the development of more sophisticated liveness detection algorithms, and which can really differentiate between genuine biometric samples and high quality forgeries. Additionally, like just integrating multi-factor authentication methods that combines biometric with other verification techniques would like significantly enhances the security. And there are a couple of like different future research ideas that we have over this work. If you're interested, we can talk about it, and we can lead you the way, and also maybe doing some collaborations. So thank you so much for being here and listening to my first research that I ever did. And I would love to answer any of the questions that you guys have. That is so one of the important things is the resolution. So first we try to be doing it on FDM printers, widely available, very good. But because of the layering, when you have some sort of layering on your cast, it doesn't work at all. And also you cannot like have that much of a detail with a FDM printer that small for a fingerprint. So the only way that this works with 3D printing is deal with printers with resin. Okay.
Like just what the resolution of the source image is, what was here, whatever.
Right now I used to remember this. Right now I don't remember what was the resolution of the images that Etsy was providing, but we one of the things that we did over the research before this, we found the same project over different platforms, and Etsy images were the most high quality one because like it was trying to like sell, and like Etsy is like widely because like people are like buying very like commonly from it, exactly. And because of that, Etsy was like compressing the images way less than the other platforms, so the resolution was higher, the quality was higher, and with some of the images you can either even also have the EXIF of the image, like maybe like knowing what the user's device is, or like what is their location. Sometimes we found things like that as well. Any other questions? Oh, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I don't know. Like, have you ever guys came across this YouTuber, locksmith lawyer? Fingerprint sensors, like other than like using the fingerprints at all, they just like open most of the time with just a tap, like a boom, they just open up. So they're not secure at all. But people are still buying it because it's convenient and it's like gimmicky to be like, oh, I have this cool lock. Like, wow, you know, does your lock can do this? So yeah. That's one of the other issues. Yeah, go ahead.
Just work on like
So yeah, and so on earlier versions, yes, 100%. On like we tried this on, um, I think the first generation iPad Air, and also we've tried it on iPhone 6, 6S, and like the earlier iOS versions works beautifully. On the latest ones, like we tried it on MacBooks and all, doesn't work at all.
something.
It's exactly, it's about the quality of the fingerprint sensors and the manufacturer and the algorithm behind it, because you can keep update these liveness detection algorithms, but they are like very common over like the devices, most of the newer devices that you buy, but it's not consistent. As I said, we made this work on a fairly new Asus laptop. So even if it was like maybe around like $1,000, $1,200 device, it still used a driver and a sort of a fingerprint sensor that was sort of ancient. So that is what the matter of the supply chain, the security of the supply chain, comes in the effect, because you have there has to be some standards to some extent to be preventing this kind of stuff. Go ahead. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Hmm. 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 Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Exactly. Exactly. Hmm. Exactly. Because you can change a password, but you cannot like cut your finger and like say, "Oh, I'm done with this." No, that's not possible. Exactly. Once it's gone, it's gone. Yeah. That would be fantastic, because like we wrote on the paper that like there are some recommendations over here for the policymakers and all, but we couldn't really find anyone to like approach and say that like, oh, this is a problem that we have to fix. So that would be a great thing. I'll definitely be in touch with you. Go ahead. So the electroconductivity of alginate is really easy, because like you mix it, so it's a powder. You mix it with water, and the water is the thing that is makes it like conductive and like sort of skin-esque. Because we tried the same thing with like things like hot glue, but since hot glue doesn't have that like capacitive like properties of alginate, it didn't work as well. The limitation, as I said, one of the things that we haven't tried is to be trying to see how good we can make a 3D model of a finger using a lower resolution or a more compressed image. So that is one of the things. But the resolution of the cast that we use, I think we use images with like HD, like 720p, 1080 sort of 1080-esque resolution. So not that high of a quality, but like it was like captured on a 12 megapixel sensor, nothing too crazy. Go ahead. No, no, I we didn't. We tried to like bring a novel, new material into the conversation, and to be honest, like I didn't have the tools and like the sort of a lab to be working with those kind of things to be like, because it's a little bit messier than alginate. Alginate is still pretty messy. It's a powder, you just get everywhere and just get messy, and you pour it, and the consistency is runny. It's just like goes everywhere. It's disgusting sometimes, but uh it's even worse with sometimes with gelatin and other things. So I didn't have access to those kind of things, but I'm pretty sure this work can be applied easier to that kind of things, because those are proven that can just spoof fingerprint sensors. This was the first time that you saw alginate over fingerprint spoofing. Go ahead. Oh, that's a great question. So one of the things about the alginate casts is that like since it's water-based, after like a few days, so actually we tried this on the paper, and it's written on the paper. After a few days, it starts to shrink. it starts to either wrinkle or turns into like very solid sort of like plaster material. So it should be, so we used it within 48 hours. It was still working, but after like 48 hours mark, it wasn't working in. Yeah. But the thing is that like when you have a mold, a 3D printed mold, you just have a 3D printed mold. You just like make more alginate, pour it in, done. Use. So it's a process that can be repeatable.
Can you tell us anything about your work with GBI?
So we're working mostly on analyzing affidavits. The research that I presented yesterday is one of the grounding research that we're trying to be doing over like interpreting and bringing AI into digital forensics. Because in digital forensics, there is still a lot of like ways that there's a lot of holdback in the United States about applying AI to digital forensics. We were talking about it yesterday as well. And while it's a little bit more accepted outside of the United States and there are certain privacy laws about it, it's fairly limited. So the thing that we are working with GBI over the Georgia Cyber Center is we are acquiring affidavits. We're trying to like do like evidence investigations using AI, bringing like more newer conversations using large language models, different things within that. And we also have this like kind of like IoT like security, information security sort of like works that we are like working closely with on this. Well, that was about it. Is there any more questions? Thank you so much, and I hope that you have a good